Hello, Barbara.
Hi, Vicki.
You have a question, honey?
No, I just thought I'd listen to see if I can learn something.
Oh, okay. So I think there was a mix-up. What we're doing today is a Q&A.
Oh,
Yeah, apparently there was a mix-up on whatever the announcement said. On Thursdays from 12 to 1, I do an hour Q&A. Just call, sign in and tell me what your questions are.
all right. Then I don't have a question. All right. Well, nice seeing you anyway.
Oh, all right. Sorry, miss you. Bye.
Miss you too. Bye.
Okay.
Hey Vicki, sorry, there was a mix-up with just the link. So we updated the link and it's updated on all the platforms. So we should see a couple more people roll in, but if people want to start asking questions, they can go right ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, so I updated on the calendar, your calendar link. I sent out an updated email with the new link, posted on Facebook. So hopefully everyone has the updated link that was looking for it.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Yep, and I'm just going to make you the host in case I have to go at any point. I don't end it for you.
Okay.
Sorry, my camera's not working on my computer, so.
Okay. Jen Nelson.
I have questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So lately when I'm putting in offers, I've had a couple where I've said to them, let's go back and look at stuff that's been on the market a little longer. Let's see if we can put an offer in. When I'm running comps, people are way overpricing for things that are actually selling in the area. So I'm advising my clients like, look, it's been on the market, say 20 days, 30 days. It's overpriced for things that have sold in the area. We try to go in a little, at where it should be. And I'm finding that these people are just poo-pooing my offers.
Yeah.
Do you still run comps and stuff, or are you just taking what they're saying these days?
Well, it all depends on my buyer. Now, I'm going to give you a scenario. It's a crazy scenario that if it wasn't true, I couldn't even make it up. So 5 years ago, I sold a young couple, typical split in Pine Valley. November, I get an email, listen, we're thinking about moving. And he was busy doing things, upgrades, blah, blah, blah. In February, I go over and I said to him, okay, we're going to list it here, which was 445. And he looked at me, 445. I go, listen, I'm not going to tell you 445 if I don't have, here's the supporting comps. Okay. Put it on the market 5 days early, coming soon, do an open house. Everybody gets to come on the open house. Nice couple went through and I thought to myself, wow, wouldn't it be great if they put an offer in? Well, sure enough, they did. They had their own agent and the offer came in at $470,000. I'm like, oh my God. I got a second offer of $471,000. The oddity was that the first offer at $470,000 was the couple I had said, geez, to myself, I hope they put an offer in. They've lost a couple properties. This property worked really well for them to make a conversion for an in-law quarter. So they really wanted it because the layout really worked, got burnt. They were the most phenomenal buyers other than cash because they had their primary residence under agreement. Their loan officer gave me a letter that said they do not need to sell Gillum Street because they qualify for both mortgages. Oh, and that's right. They're putting 52% down on the LTV. That loan institution waived the appraisal. Now, when this settles in the middle of June, there's going to be this wild comp that makes no sense to anybody. My buyers have mentally decided if they can't find what they want in Jenkintown, because that's where they wanted to live, they were willing to rent for a year. Okay. 3 days after we execute the agreement, I get this panic text, oh my God, this just hit the market. It's in Jenkintown Borough. Got to see it. It's a relo. When I did the comps, it's a twin. It's listed for $399. I do the comps, $400,000 is a total rehab twin that I had shown these people was the only comp, the highest comp I could come up with. My people are on overdrive. We want it, we want it, we want it. They offered $425. Now, in my mind, 400 made sense. Maybe we'd luck out and we got a 405, 410 appraisal. We also said we would pay the first $35,000 that it did not appraise for, meaning if it comes under value, we will spit up the first $35,000 to make up the difference. Appraiser comes out, does the appraisal, comes back at $385. Everybody wants to throw up, including the listing agent who's extremely experienced. She now has to reach out back to the reload company and say, listen, we've got an issue here. She gave me all of her documentation, and it would appear that there may be a square footage issue. We took the last appraisal when those sellers bought it, and there's a difference of almost 500 square feet. So we don't know if that's part of our issue or not. But remember, doesn't mean the appraiser is going to change their mind, of which we've appealed it, and now we're waiting. So if my buyer has to spit up $35,000, that means that they actually purchased it at $420, because 385 and 35 equal 420, not 425. So we have to go through all the zigzag. My point of this conversation is that appraisers are really tightening up because they have seen this kind of get to a level where they're scared. Jen, you've been around the block a long time. You know the LTV on paragraph 8 is as good as an appraisal contingency without the actual additional addendum. So prepare your buyers to know that. Here's my question. How desperate do you want this house? My buyers were so desperate for this house, they went to the end of the earth, literally. And it is what it is. They're paying $35,000 more for this property just to have it. Now, couldn't have done that if they didn't get, how much more did they get? $35,000 extra for their house. So it became a wash in reality for them, but it was all the most bizarre circumstances that they were able to get an extra $35,000 for their own house. So how desperate do you want it? Are you willing to pay more than it would appear the value is? And are you willing to play the game, if you're willing to buy it more than it is, that you're going to kick in something if it doesn't appraise? It's that breakdown, pulling the onion skin off one layer at a time to see the position of your buyer. Listing agents still want to believe it's worth all that in a bag of chips. I feel the sand shifting. And I feel that between appraisers, and I think we've maxed out on purchase price. I think we're there, and it's not going to go any higher. I think everything's starting to adjust a little bit, as it should, as it would. I think this is the time where it's happening. So you really have to go deep with your buyers and see where they want to go.
Yeah, I tried to explain to them that, they can throw money at it, but also keep in mind that if it doesn't appraise, they could be on the hook for that difference.
That's it.
And I've tried to tell them, they don't get it. Like, why are these, we heard these people threw $50,000 at this. And I'm like, well, good for them for having it. You don't have that kind of money. Do you want to do that? Because I will gladly write up that offer and you could throw that money at it.
Right.
So they're starting to see it. They keep losing out, and they, and then they see, it's the same couple that I talked to you a couple months ago. We had an offer in on a property in Delaware County, and it was priced for $339. And the closest comps the highest comp I found for it was 335. And this had so much more property to it and was a better rehab. So they put in for it. We got it. I think they were up against 2 other buyers, but we got it. And it came back appraised at 315.
Woo!
And
Sounds like mine.
we were still negotiating the inspections.
Wow.
And the people bought the house the year before for $260 from a relative who had rehabbed the house, who also paid $260. And they turned around a year later and were selling it for $339. It doesn't look like anybody lived in the house. The appliances were all still brand new with plastic on them.
Oh, wow.
Carpet was still brand new, like no furniture marks on it at all. And they were trying to tell us, yeah, somebody's lived there. I'm like, okay, it doesn't look like anybody's lived there. And
Yeah.
the rehab was done, but they left a lot of electrical issues up in the attic, which you can walk up into and convert into a room, and the basement. And we were looking at like $6,000 to $8,000 worth of electric. We asked them to fix, and they said it was 200 amp. It was 100 amp. And the box was like just overfilled and had double neutral. It was a whole hot mess. So we asked for that to have fixed, and they said no. And my buyers were like, you know what? We're walking away. And so I didn't even get to negotiate that appraisal at 315. And
Right.
She was brand new. She'd only been an agent for like 3 or 4 years. She didn't know. She's never come across it. And I told her, I said, last time I saw this happen was the end of 07 and 08.
That's how I feel. 07, 08.
I said, I
Exactly.
got out. I took some time out. I'm back. And I said, I am not ready to do this again. So I said,
Yep.
you know, you will either have to reduce it down or we can, you know, renegotiate price. But we didn't make it through the home inspection. So we walked away. She listed it again and added $900. So she turned around and relisted it for $339.9, even though we told her it got appraised for $315.
Wow.
And it took like 2 weeks,
Wow.
but she got it back under agreement. So I'm watching it because I want to see what it finally ends up going for.
Sure. Now,
and-
keeping in mind,
Yeah, and
the
they didn't
appraisal
change the
is always-
seller's- They didn't change the property disclosure, and she still listed as 200 amp when we told her it's 100 amp service. Like she still
Wow.
didn't change things. I'm like, oh,
so keep in mind, an appraisal is that of an opinion. So we've appealed it. Will anything come of it? I'm afraid no. And it's going to end up selling for $420 instead of $425.
Mm.
And then my buyers are going to kick in $35,000 to get it.
wow.
Mhm. But for them, it's very important that they're in that school district for them. So that supersedes the cost factor. A lot of it's a wash from where they're coming to where they're going for them, but they're willing to do it. So I'm like, okie dokie, here we go.
Yeah, and I had the same thing happen last week. I have a client. She has only ever done sheriff's sale. I mean, like, God bless her. I don't know that market. I don't know how
Wow,
to do
me
that.
either.
But she decided she got approved for $100,000 loan from her bank, and she had $50,000. So she wants to buy a condo in Center City for $150,000.
Oh,
So we found one for $145,000, and for some reason she's hell bent on being in this building, and I hate the building, and I think the building's gross, but it's not my money. And we went and looked, and the unit was nice. It was classified as a 1-bedroom, and they cut the 1-bedroom wall in half and like really opened it up. And they were asking $145,000, and I ran the comps in the building, and the highest comp was the condo that just sold 2 months ago for $130,000, and that renovation was a lot nicer. So I reached out to the agent and said, hey, can I see your comps where you got this $145,000? And she refused to get back to me. She ignored me. And, you know, I told my little old lady, I was like, I don't think this is the unit for you. And she was buying it for an investment to rent out. And I had been waiting for her one day and talked to people coming and going from the building, all rentals, and they all had horrible things to say about the building. So I told her I would just walk away. She was really torn. She drug it out for like 2 days, and then she wanted to put in an offer, and I talked her out of it. I was like, don't.
no.
Don't. You're overpaying, and for what? Like, don't. I told her to hold on to her money for a little bit.
Yep. Things are going to shift. And you're right. It's so funny you should say that, because I felt it in 07, and I just assumed it was me. that I could feel the sand starting to move because nobody else was complaining. Yeah, well, apparently I was right because it all of a sudden went, "Meow."
Well, I was seeing it, and I'm not going to name names, but I was working for a $1 million agent at the time. And I was watching that agent spend a lot of money on huge developments. And we all of a sudden started seeing the condos in that building weren't selling, where they were like blowing out the door, and all of a sudden they stopped.
Right.
And then we were seeing people that would lay down $1 million in cash to buy something were now having trouble getting a mortgage because they were trying to hold on to their cash. And I remember saying, I want to say it was like September, October of 07. And I said, hey, things are kind of funky right now. Is this, or like, you know, am I still going to have a job? Are we still going to work? And I think they were pissed that I questioned that. And then, you know, I held on, and we just started to see it that was when I started to see it spiral.
Yep.
And then, you know, by January of 08 was like, I think I'm just going to take some time off. Step away. And,
Yep.
you know, the strong survived. I feel like the pandemic's doing that too. We're going to see, you know, who survives this doing business in the pandemic. Yeah. I've had a couple new agents that I know have either let their, whether they're with us or not, have just let their license go. They haven't tried. I tried to talk them into just putting it in a referral program until they can get back up on their feet so they don't lose it. Like, just keep it. So I don't know.
Yep.
We'll see.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Anybody else out there with a question? No? All right. Actually, I had somebody call me yesterday asking what time I was doing this, but I haven't seen that person. Christopher, do you have a question, my dear?
Hey, Vicki, how you doing?
Good, baby doll. What's up?
So I have a friend, a potential client, and I don't know if this is a question you could particularly answer, but I'm just trying to field some responses from people. But the situation is that he has a shore house in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And he recently found out a couple weeks ago that he has a squatter in the shore.
Oh, no.
And so, given the current situation, you can't evict people. And he has taken a few measures where he tried to shut off the utilities, got in trouble for that, tried to change the locks, got in trouble for that. And so I was wondering if you had any ideas, any recourse you could take. The only thing I've really heard is offer money.
Yeah, that's probably right. Squatters are a huge problem.
Yeah.
Huge. And I don't know what county. Is it Atlantic County, Ocean County?
I'm not sure. I think it's Wildwood.
Okay.
It might be.
So he's got to follow the rules that they have in that jurisdiction. Oh my God, how did they get in there, these bastards?
Yeah, apparently it was a guy who got in through an estranged family member who never should have had access to the place. The kid wasn't aware that they even had access, and I guess they gave access to a friend or whoever this person is, but he seems to be very stubborn. He's not, he's going to try to milk this as long as he possibly can.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
no, sorry.
the owner is at the mercy of the law.
Okay.
And the utilities are in whose name?
His.
His being who?
The owner.
So why can't he shut them off? What does the municipality say about that?
So apparently it's just a matter of like the person who's living in the home has rights.
Oh yeah.
How it was explained to me, they have a right to be able to access the property. They have a right to, have running water and all that. So yeah, I don't know. It's a concept that I don't completely understand.
Nobody does.
Make more sense, but yeah, the cops have been involved several times, and he's the cops have gotten, upset with the homeowner, not the person squatting. So,
Right. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
so I guess he's just got to wait for the eviction moratorium to
I
clear up.
would imagine. Did he hire an attorney?
He hasn't hired an attorney. I said I'm going to talk to a few people for him. In the end, I'll probably just sit down and look at some numbers and say, okay, this is going to cost you this much to, hire an attorney to evict the guy, to do this. You could be losing out on rental income. Maybe you should just offer the guy this much money, get him out quicker. I don't know, but.
All right. So this is obviously over both of our pay grades, right?
To speak with an attorney.
Yeah. But let's please make sure it's a real estate attorney in that county, because they know people. Okay. You don't want a real estate attorney from Trenton.
Okay.
Okay. Because that's really important.
Yeah, I didn't think of that.
Yeah. Okay. And so when you're talking to this owner, use this analogy. It works like a charm.
Okay.
Because they're going to go, yeah. No, it's really important. I have found over many years, if you associate real estate and its idiosyncrasies with medicine, the public seems to understand it better. So you'll say to the homeowner, listen to me, I'm going to give you an analogy. And you point to his eye and you say, I see there's some film on that eye. It would appear you have a cataract. Is your wife's gynecologist going to remove that for you? And the response always is a giggle. And you then say, but I don't seem to understand. Why are you giggling? The gynecologist is a doctor. Why is that doctor not removing your cataract? And for some reason, it clicks. That's why it's important to get the right attorney, just as you would want to get an ophthalmologist, a surgical ophthalmologist, to remove the cataract, right? So you want a real estate attorney in that township, in that general location. What you might want to do is reach out to the closest Keller Williams real estate company to that property. And I want you to ask for the TL, the team leader. And you're going to say to them, hey, dude, I'm licensed with Keller Williams Philadelphia. I've got a situation with a friend and we need a good real estate attorney local in Wildwood. Who do you recommend?
Okay. Yeah, good ideas. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then that attorney is going to give the accurate help and suggestions and means of how are we going to deal with this. Okay. That's a terrible thing. I feel really, really bad.
Yeah, it's a tough situation. Thanks for your help.
Very tough.
I appreciate that. That was good.
Okay. There you go.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
Hey, Vic.
What?
I'm getting an offer in on a condo listing that I have. I'm hoping to get it in today. It's been a long time since I've had to deal with condo docs. What is the time frame of that I have to order the docs, and who pays for that, the seller or me?
Okay. If you're not using Take Me to Closing with Lauren, she normally handles all that.
No,
But
I'm doing it myself.
okay. So 15 days from the execution date, the seller, not you, the seller has to order the condo docs, of which then the association has 10 days to get them out. So depending on the location of the condominium, if they actually have a condo association that's real, rather than a 3-unit and somebody's president and somebody's not, and somebody's the, you'll call them up, you'll get the paperwork on how to do it, and they'll take a credit card. So then you submit it to the seller. You'd have to get the seller to put in his credit card, and that's how it all works. Okay.
All right, that helps. The building's the Lennox, so it's at 13th and Spruce.
Oh, it's been around. They have their own association, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I know she's going to come back to me. She's a very busy exec, and she's just going to be like, Jen, can you just handle it? And I want to put that back on her because I didn't want to put that money out.
No, nor should you.
Yeah. Okay.
Nor should you. So if you contact the association first and find out all the details, then you'll have all the knowledge and you'll tell her, listen, I'm sending you paperwork. You're going to have to include your credit card number, blah, blah, blah.
Okay. And then I'm still doing the city cert for that, even though it's a condo.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Very good. Absolutely. Okay. Now, this is very strange. I'm going to text that person who wanted to know when I was doing this. Say, what the hell? Maybe he was asking for somebody else. You could take a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
It's so true. It's so true.
Okay. Did Sonny come back?
She retired, and then
Right.
like 2 months later, she's like, "Yeah, I want to come back. I'm bored. I want to come back." She even like gave me like all of her sales stuff, and I was like, "Do you want to get back?" She's like, "No." So she's been undergoing some health stuff. She had to go in for like another heart procedure, and
Oh.
I think there's something. I could be wrong. I want to say it might be thyroid now. It's something weird like that. So she's dealing with that, but we have a Zoom team meeting next week, and she'll be in on that. I think it's like the first time she's joining us for that. So, but
good.
I did stop by and see her about 2 weeks ago after her surgery, and she was looking good and sounded good.
Oh, good.
And so I think she's going to try and do just a lot of rentals. I don't know so much if she's going to be doing, So I think she's going to work out a deal with Deirdre. Like she'll cover some of Deirdre's open houses for rentals and pick up some leads. And so she's going to kind of do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. Look at her still hanging in there. What is she now? 80, 82? 80? I think she's 81 or 82 now.
Absolutely.
And she looks great, and you would never know.
No. Did you know Rita Roy passed?
I did. I couldn't believe she was still practicing like a year or two before she died. I couldn't believe that.
Her last transaction, it had in the big article in the Inquirer. She was 90, 91?
98, I think they said.
But her last transaction.
Oh, was when, I think it said when she was like 92 or 93.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm like,
crazy.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
She was always such a ball buster. I mean, she was funny about it, but oh my God, she didn't take shit from anybody. She was a ball buster that way.
No. She knew her stuff too.
Yep.
She was good.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was driving down I was driving down Spruce Street yesterday, and I was parked at a light, and Matt Taglione got out of his car and he had shorts on, and I haven't seen him in ages.
Right.
And I was like, I just whistled and was like, yeah, look at those sexy legs. And he comes right away and he goes, who is that? And then when he saw it was me, he just started laughing. He was like, oh my God. And the light turned, I had to go, or else I would have pulled over and talked to him. I haven't seen him in ages.
Yeah. How does he look? Good?
Yeah, he still looks the same. Like, it was funny. He had looked older then. I think he's just grown into himself. Like, I feel like I always looked older and I grew into myself.
Yeah.
Like I'm finally, I just keep getting fatter so I don't have any wrinkles. It pushes it all out. Oh my gosh. Are you vaccinated yet?
Oh yeah, I'm done.
Oh, that's right. Because you had to go because you were with Tom. You got everything when he
Right.
did, right? Yeah.
But I never got it. But
I'm
I
fully
somehow
done.
never got COVID.
Yeah, I'm fully vaccinated, but my husband hasn't yet. So we're still trying to. He wants to wait for the Johnson and Johnson one. He wants to get one shot. I'm like, but they have all these ones that are going to waste. Just go get one. They're begging people to come in.
Yeah, that's
he's-
terrible. They have to beg people.
I know. I'm like, oh, yeah, because I was on a bunch of different lists, and then I had an emergency room visit. I ended up getting kidney stones,
Ooh,
and the hospital contacted me like a week later and was like, due to your recent hospital visit, you're a candidate to get vaccinated. I was like, I'll take it. I'll take it. And then a month later, I got in the emergency room again with gallbladder issues. So this
wow.
getting old thing is not working for me at all. And my mother just had hers out. And so they said it's hereditary. And I called her and I was like, this was all you. And she said, yeah, I passed it on to you. We were laughing. So I meet with the surgeon tomorrow. So we'll see. So I just keep trucking along, telling everybody I'm working till I can't.
Yeah, right? I had my appendix out at age 60. I never heard of such a thing. And the surgeon said from, 12 to 30, very popular. And then there's a big pause in between. Yeah, we'll get them, he said. But then 60 to 80, it's another big jump. He said, I just did an 82-year-old.
Oh my gosh. That's so weird.
That is weird, isn't it?
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh
Very
my.
weird.
Oh my. But yeah, I can't believe how bored. I was talking to somebody the other day and they said, how do you say no to people? I said, I'm not saying no to anybody right now. I don't know when this is going to stop. I just keep saying yes to everybody. And
Sure.
I am just burning the candle at both ends. And I'm just going with the market. As long as the market still is moving, I'm just going to keep doing it because I'm still rebuilding after
Oh,
a year
yeah.
hiatus. So I'm like a year and a half into rebuilding my database. And I feel like it's a good 2 to 3 years before you start to see those referrals and start to see that kick in when you're rebuilding.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm just hustling and strolling around. And Paul's been splitting his time between Florida and us. So Dan and I are doing a lot of the Philly stuff, and Paul's back and forth between St. Petersburg, Florida, and Philly.
So you have a partner now?
Yes. Yeah, Eric.
Okay.
They've been together, I want to say maybe 3 years now. And yeah, he just moved down to Florida and got a job. And so he's living in the condo they bought originally for investment purposes. Now they're living in it. And
Okay.
Paul's going to be selling his house soon, pretty much.
Oh, in Sunshine Court?
Yeah, he just got a listing. And so he's going to wait till that sells. And then he's going to probably list his house. Do you have any
Wow.
buyers?
He bought that new.
Once in that area?
Wow. How old's Sunshine Court? I bet it's pushing 20.
I don't know if it's that bar because I want to say, well, maybe, because I want to say between 15 and 17, maybe.
Okay.
I can remember who I was working for, and we sold one of those to a friend of theirs.
Okay.
And I remember that going up. So yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe it is approaching 20. Wow. Oh my gosh.
I know.
That's so crazy that now I'm at the point where I can be like, I remember when that was built.
Yeah, that is crazy, isn't it? Mm-mm-mm.
It's like when I first moved to Philly in '86, I would walk around and I'd just be amazed at some of these buildings that, in Center City that were boarded up, like old movie theaters and
Right.
some of these office buildings that were vacant at the time. And it was right before it was before the Republican convention came in, because remember all that stuff that was vacant. And then when the Republican convention came in, some of the vacant office buildings were turned into hotels just to house people.
Right.
And then it brought some businesses back. But so I used to walk around and just be like, what was here? What was this? And PBS had run this special. It was The Things That Aren't There Anymore.
Oh, neat.
And they did Philly. They did from City Hall and north. And it explained how the gas companies bought up all the public transportation and started dismantling some of the train lines to get cars out to the suburbs, like when the Northeast was being developed and that kind of stuff. It was really, really interesting. And then they got such a good feedback. People wanted to know what was in South. And then they did from City Hall South a couple years later. And I didn't know, like down near the stadiums had been this aquarium and water park that had been down there that people could go see dolphins and all this. Like, kids could go swim. I was like, what? Like in South Philly? Like that just blew my mind that at one point that was down there.
Yeah.
And there was a whole other thing. I was like, wow, that was I know. I wish I could get that on DVD and just like show people of like some of the stuff.
That'd be cool.
And every once in a while I see people put blast out on Facebook, like looking for rare stuff. And they're just like, hey, has anybody seen it? I'm like, I saw it. I would love to see that again. Who has that? Who can do that again?
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, it looks like it's just me and you.
I know. And I texted that other agent, like, I'm here. Something tells me he was trying to get somebody else who probably needed to ask some questions on.
Oh. My goodness.
Well, I'm glad you're doing well.
Yeah, I'm staying busy. I mean, of all years to make a transition back, I didn't realize how much I really missed it until I got back. And now I'm like, it's fun. It's fun being back.
It's fast and furious, and then it slows down. But the fast and furious part can be addicting. It really can.
Yeah. And I was like that with my pet sitting business too. Like I didn't say no to people. I worked every day. I mean, I was always hustling. And then when I had to stop for my surgery to have my hysterectomy, I shut down for 9 weeks. And that's when I had a big focus moment of, can I keep this up? I think it's time I really don't go back to that. And then I eased back into real estate. And I love that I did. I mean, it's still just as busy. I'm still working every day. People are shocked that I'll call them at 10 o'clock at night. Or, I'm like, I'm always working, and they know, they can reach me at any time. And I'm like, pretty much if I'm available and can speak to you, I will.
Right. That's kind of my theory too.
And I am surprised how many, when I'm trying to set up showings, I do call back and I'll get voicemails that say, after 5 o'clock, I'll respond the next day. And I'm like, well, good for them, but I'm wheeling and dealing. I got so many balls in the air that I can't stop. I need to keep it going.
Yep, I get it completely.
I know.
So.
When are we moving to the 3rd floor?
Well,
are they gonna do that?
Supposedly it's all negotiated, but somebody has to sign a lease. I don't know what the hell's going on. There was always this plan B if needed, but I think we're actually going to the 3rd floor, and I certainly hope so.
I mean, it's still so weird when I go in to help go abstract like 2 or 3 days a week, and it's still just so weird to nobody's in there, to go from how bustling it was to no one is there. And it's kind of creepy. I was in yesterday and the water was shut down, and it was just me and Tracy and Latasha in there working, and we had 2 settlements, and I'm like, the building was shut down. I think Michael popped in, but every time I went to go out in the hallway, everything was dark because of the motion lights. I was like, this is creepy. It's in the middle of the day. Here we are.
Well, the water's off again today too.
Yeah, they said the new pumps should be installed. I think today was the last day.
Okay.
And then I think tomorrow it's back up, but I'll be in on Monday. And is anybody even working down at Washington Square now? Just Jen Gosgrove?
Just Jen. But Antonio moved there.
Oh, I didn't know he was still selling.
Oh, yeah. He just focuses on his own team now.
Oh.
And he left the big suite upstairs on the 6th floor and went to Society Hill.
Oh, I didn't even know. I thought when he sold the business, I thought he was retiring or done. Oh, I didn't know. Wow.
No, he's still around. So he moved there because he can walk home back and forth. So it makes a lot of sense for him. I think he took Paul's office.
Yeah, it was the biggest space next to Jen. So, and it was a shame because we just weren't in there, and we were like, why are we paying for this?
Yeah. So I think he took Paul's office, and I'll stop by tomorrow. I usually stop on, I try to get there once a week to water the plant, my oranges. And, sometimes there's goofy mail and I'll go through that or whatever. But Jen's in there because Christ, she lives upstairs. So it's perfect for her.
Yeah. And every once in a while, if I'm down in the area, I'll just pull up in the loading zone, run in to see if I have any mail there, because right before COVID, I had ordered like all these mailing labels, and everything I mail out, I'm like, well, I got to use them. So I just use them, and I just go to check and see if anything came back.
Absolutely.
We'll see. I'm like, but everything else, I pretty much started putting the Walnut Street office on all my stuff just in case something came in. But
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Well, if you don't have to hang on if you got to go.
I was like, it's a shame. You got 10 more minutes left. Nobody's joining you. You should just cut it short.
No, I don't. I do it. There's been a time where I had one person quick ask me a question and then said, okay, gotta go, bye. And that was it. I just kept it open for the rest of the time. I'm like, okay. But I don't know what to say.
Oh my gosh. Are they still looking for classes for May, for class ideas, or they got the May schedule already worked out?
I think May's done.
Oh, good. Yeah, Deidre did one I think it was last month. It was either the end of March or beginning of April. I had said I wanted to see more like on doing listing presentations or comps, and she did one that was really good. I'd love to see something like that again.
Yeah.
Those are good ones. I don't think a lot of these new agents even know. Oh,
Throw my hands up.
I had a situation. I was doing a rental with one of Garab's team members. And it took 3 weeks for her to get everything worked out. And that was just trying to fill out the rental lease. And then the landlord decided last minute to rent with TCS. And so then that complicated. And I asked them to send me the paperwork. They went and sent everything to my client without me reviewing it. And she's a doctor and very detail oriented, and called me up and was wondering why my name wasn't on anything. And I said, send me everything.
Oh, okay.
And I looked, and the agent didn't even know how to fill out the company information, like listed the condo shops and didn't have the brokerage license and all this stuff. And I had to say, are you new? Here's how this should be filled out. You need to take Vicki's agreement of sale class, because it'll also pertain to this lease on how to correctly fill out the required information. And this is necessary. And I had to walk them through it. And then everything that the management company sent over was all incorrect. And I was like, are any of you reading my emails? And I literally was like, line 1, A, B, like this goes there and this. And like the math was wrong on the figures. And I was just like,
Oh my God.
yeah, it took 3 weeks back and forth. And I saw Gaurav yesterday and I said, can I talk to you for a minute? And I started to say it and he goes, oh my God, that was you? You were the agent on the other end? He goes, I'm glad it was you. And he was like, yeah, he goes, we had a meeting about that. And I was like, wow, you guys had a meeting. He goes, oh yeah, I heard about it. And I was like, and he just said it was just the agent was new. Everyone at the management company had just stayed in-house, but changed positions. So they were learning. And it was just all the wrong stuff hit at the wrong time. And I was like, she wanted to walk away a couple times. Like she wanted to be locked in and move on. And I was still out showing her stuff until we got it worked out. So I was like, I shouldn't have had to do that for a rental. I should have had a lease like within 2 days at max.
Yeah. There are days I just shake my head.
Yeah, because then, if it was it was like 4 o'clock, they wouldn't answer me because they all leave at 5. So anything that came in at the end, they wouldn't even think of answering. And I was lucky if I got something by like 11 the next afternoon. And then, I would respond. Again, it would take another day or two to get back. If it was a weekend, forget it, because they weren't working. And it sucks when I'm working all the time that I can't get things worked out. But so I was like, oh yeah, there's definitely probably some new agents that need a refresher course on how to fill out documents, whether it's a lease or agreement of sale. I was blown away at how uninformed
Oh
the
yeah.
person was. Yeah. And I guess you see a lot of that.
Please. I could just run screaming in the woods. And then I got the flip of the coin. Then I get a kid who's new, like in less than a year, somehow sold $1 million property, has really good questions. He and I go over things together. I mean, like he said, I've reviewed your agreement of sale class 3 times to make sure I'm doing this right. I'm like, who are you and where did you come from? Now, I get the extreme and then I get this one over here.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. Well, girly girl, I guess I'm going to go at this point.
Well, you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, you too.